Hey, guess what? New game got announced, but you probably already know that because everybody else and their mother is talking about it. Because what other better things do we have to do? Ha ha ha. Yeah, so Touhou 20 got announced. That's right. So check it out. I could drag images over to the screen. Maybe I will. No, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. Let me see. Wrong. Wrong. There we go. What's the for zoom key? Yeah, alright. Well, here's the cover. Here's the cover, chat. Oh, hold on. Hold on. We're only on hype train level 1. I'm afraid the image is locked. The image has been locked behind the hype train. If you want to see more, please deposit 10 coin. Okay. Alright, there we go. Alright. So, this is the menu. This is, if I remember seeing right, it's the demo's coming out on May 5th. And the full game will be out probably later in May. This will be the second time that a full game is releasing in May. I don't remember when Touhou 19 came out, but Touhou 18 came out in May. It is August? Oh, okay. Alright. The full game does come out in August, as usual then. Demo's up to stage 3. Demo is always up to stage 3, yes. Demo's always up to stage 3. But yeah, Touhou 18 had a full release in May. But all the other games released, mainline games released in August. So, as we can see from the menu, there's spell practice. That's neat. The game's called Fossilized Wonders. Although I don't know what the header is. The image that you can see that lines up with Reimu's stick is a city and a pyramid under it and then an eyeball. So also, yeah, Reimu's hair is very, very brown. That's kind of insane. Reimu's hair has been very, very black for the last couple games. And her hair has been interchangeable for a lot of people, for sure. But her hair is almost like chestnut right now. Her hair is almost chestnut. Alright. So, there's more information on this, about a little bit about the plot, right? What was the plot synopsis? From what I saw, it's a bit of a soft reboot, like Mountain of Faith. So, the only playable characters are Reimu and Marissa. I don't know if there is a synopsis of the plot yet. But given the nature of how the games have been going, it's possible the animal realm is involved. Chaining system. Well, I'll look at screenshot. Hold on, we're moving on screenshots later, don't worry. But yeah, Reimu and Marissa are the only playable characters. The fact that there's a city line there's only been 2 places in Touhou where a city line has been noticed. Well, I guess 3 if you want to count the outside world, which was Sumireko's stage. But it was Makai. Makai had this type of background, which we both know that's not happening. But I am saying that there are only 2 places in Touhou that were located not in the outside world where there was a cityscape like this. And one was Makai, specifically Hokai, and the animal capital, the Beast Realm. So, given the way the series has been going, it's probably going to be more animal stuff. And if it's going to be more animal stuff, it means it's possible we'll finally get information on that 4th group that is talked about in Yashie's Omake. About the one that their base isn't even really in Animal Realm. but they're known for being extremely underhanded and specializing in assassin-based techniques like poison, like dirty stuff. Working theory is Eastern Tale of Glorious Capital or Capital of Great Glory / Crowning Beauty. Per Mental Sixth Sense articles gotten mentioned a lot involving a rumored city inside the Yokai Mountain. Oh, so you think maybe the triangle is actually Yokai Mountain and then under it is a city? So it's like flipped like that? Well, the first and last kanjis make Tokyo. Well, I mean, that's not that surprising because the game is called Glorious Capital. So, and Tokyo is the capital of Japan, so the characters for Tokyo being in the game's title makes sense to me. Alright. It's going to be called Touhou Kinjokyo. Kinjokyo. Oh. Oh. It's the kanji for capital, not Tokyo. Tohokyo. Oh. Oh. Cool. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. So hold on. We got some more screenshots. Let me just open them all now so I can just kind of scroll through them. What the hell is this? Whoa. Okay. Hold on. Okay, we got some Reimu screenshots. We got some Marissa screenshots. Just one sec. I'm just opening everything up. Oh, we do have a story. Okay. So we got a story here. We'll check the story bit next. Here's the story bit. Okay. People sense that something is happening against Tokyo. However, only a few people realize this. It was clearly shown the abnormal reaction was the sacred ground, the untouchable land at the foot of the mountain, and the strange power. So, it's related to Yokai Mountain, and there was something related to untouchable land, probably related to sanctuary lands, which is also tied into Touhou 19, where that was a big point of the plot. Armed with the power of the abnormalities, she solved it, now she challenges the sanctuary. So yes, okay, so it's right there in the next line. So, Yokai Mountain, again, sanctuary stuff, which is referred to, as you know, Nemono's ability is creating sanctuary lands. The Yamamba themselves reside in sanctuaries, the Yokai Mountain. Touhou 19's entire plot revolved around sanctuary land being up for grabs and everybody trying to put a foothold in it. And also, those of you that know, and it's pretty obvious if you look at it, but B10 also resides in a sanctuary land. And B10 is, her dress is designed after Nemono's, and they look the same. And in the Strange Creators article for Unfinished Dream of All Living Ghosts, it says that that is in fact intentional, obviously, because it puts, it gives some kind of connection to Nemono. So Nemono's not actually in the game at all, but Nemono's ability and the whole sanctuary business has kind of been, it's kind of been at the forefront of the last little bit, last couple games, aka 1 and 2. That's all. It's the usual bullet hell shooter. This time we aim to create a game with a particularly orthodox style that allows players to enjoy bullet hells in a comfortable way. The land is few for the last 3 games, but look at this. Okay, so as you know, Touhou is often broken up and grouped into games. So 6, 7, 8, and 9 are there. That's the OG era. Then we have 10, 11, and 12, the continue era. Then we have 13, 14, 15, and I guess 16. But honestly, it's weird because 10, 11, and 12 share similarities in that they all have the same continue system. 13 doesn't. However, 13 is directly caused by the actions of 12. That's the big thing about that one, is that 10 leads into 11, 11 leads into 12, and 12 leads into 13. So those 4 games have interconnectivity in that way, but I think most people think of 10, 11, and 12 as the standalone group, simply because the continue system is the way it is in all of them. But 13 is weird because where does 13 go? Does 13 start the next era, or does 13 finish off the previous era? But then we have 14, 15, and 16. But honestly, you could say that 13 and 14 and 15 are their own era, because 16 is just like EOSD in the sense that, or EOSD and Mountain of Faith, and that 16 was meant to go back to simple. Every now and again, we get the game that kind of returns to the base form. And this shows immensely in Hidden Star and Four Seasons, because Hidden Star and Four Seasons' extra life system is tied directly to points, which is not a thing in any other Windows game except EOSD. EOSD was the only one that tied extra lives to your points. A PCB came out and it became point items that you collected, not points themselves. But then Hidden Star and Four Seasons went back to that. So Hidden Star Four Seasons was supposed to be a bit of a reset like that. So you have 16, 17, 18, and 19, which I think you can actually count as one whole arc, just because 6, 7, 8 plus 9 was an original arc. So 16, 17, 18, and 19. Now the thing is, 16 is not terribly relevant to anything past 16, except 17.5. Except 17.5. So, Okina's existence is the reason why 17.5 goes down the way it does. So, Okina is relevant to that. Okina's not relevant to 17, 18, or really 19, but she does have a hand in it in that way, right? She has a hand in it in that way. So I don't know exactly how people categorize this. 16 could be its own, in the previous one, 16 could start, but it also feels more natural to say that 17, 18, and 19 are combined. Although at the same time, 18 and 19 are obviously combined, but 17 isn't combined at all. In fact, 17 is just kind of like, here's some characters, and then 18 is a whole new story, and then 18 leads to 19, but 19's like, oh shit, now we're bringing 17 characters into it. So 17 and 16 aren't too different from each other in that way in regards to how they're connecting to their series, right? 17 is an arc starter. See, that's the thing, right? But 16 is not an arc finisher. 16 doesn't finish an arc at all. 16 just kind of exists, but it also sets up Okina, who is a character who has been not super prominent, I suppose, but fairly prominent in getting things going. 18 is the odd one, but at the same time it's not, because 18 also leads into 18.5, spin-off game, I know, but also the events of 18 also lead directly into 19, just like how we talked about with Mountain of Faith leading into Subterranean Animism. But Unconnected Marketeers is going to lead directly into Unfinished Dream, All Living Ghost. 16 is like an anime movie rather than an arc. But it's not, because Okina is a very prominent character in action for stuff after 16. If you took Okina out, then yes, it would be like a movie, because none of the characters matter. However, Nemono kind of matters right now, but not Nemono herself. Violet Detector ends the arc of Urban Legends, but 16 isn't related to Urban Legends. The Urban Legends arc is pretty much exclusively in the spin-off stuff with 14.5, 15.5, and 16.5. That's a different arc of spin-off. Just like you could say Immature Missing Power, Scarlet Weather Rhapsody, and Hiso Tensoku are their own arc as well. And then you got Hopeless Masquerade, which is Hopeless Masquerade. But all the 16 characters minus Okina don't have much to do. You know, most of them are just kind of characters who appeared and maybe had some small appearances. On mostly makes cameos. Eternity kind of appeared in Fairies manga. Nemono doesn't do anything. Narumi barely does anything. The backup dancers, I don't even tell you why. Those don't do anything. Sagame mentions having a hand in making an urban legend. Yes, because the plot of 14.5 leads directly into 15. Because the occult balls that Sumireko created, Sagame created the Looter occult ball and passed it down among them. and created the hoax of Apollo 13. And by creating the Apollo 13 hoax, she could materialize the lunar capital into Gensokyo to flee from Junko's attack. That was her plan, but it was not. It was more of a failsafe, and that's what led to the game 15. So yes, 14.5 leads into 15, but 15.5 leads into perfect possession and into the dream world, but still uses urban legends. And then 16.5 is all about Sumireko, who is the pretty much the starter, the catalyst of the occult balls, but also her urban legend. Or her urban legend and the dream world are coinciding in that game with the doppelganger situation. So that's the culmination of it. But yes, you are right that 14.5 does actually lead directly into 15's plot. The 6 and 9 have any story connections? Are they connected because of the Windows generation? They're connected in the sense that when one game happens, the characters from that game end up going out and being a part of the game. So Touhou 6, Reimu and Marissa go out, they beat up Remilia. And Touhou 7, shit's going down again, now Sakuya's here to help. Touhou 8, shit's going down, now everybody's here. Yukari's here, Alice is here, Yomu and Yuyuko are here, Remy and Sakuya are here. So 18 is like a culmination of everything. So they don't, story-wise, it's different events, but it gets each group involved, kind of like that. But this was also back when Touhou wasn't really, you gotta remember that this was back when Touhou wasn't being done in a super, like, structured story type of deal, right? They're known as the nostalgia era, and then 9 was supposed to be the end, and that's why 9 brought back Yuka for fun. And the game was supposed to be kind of like, you know. But, the original series of 6, 7, 8, and 9 was not leaning too heavily into that. I mentioned before, but the reason why Kwakuman and Dayose don't have actual names is because Zun didn't bother. And then Zun found out, like, oh, people actually kind of care about these characters, and that's why Lily got a name. And PCB, because he saw the fans were like, oh, man, I wish these characters had names. So he started actively naming all of his characters, even the throwaway ones like Lily, because people got attached to them. And as it went on, he started giving more information in the characters' omakes, most of them anyway, and giving more story to them. There's a reason why the omakes in like EOSD are really small, and a lot of fill in the blanks, and then bam, you read Yuyuko's omake, and it's like, here's the story of Yuyuko and the Saigyo Ayakashi. So he started doing a little more like that, which I think is cool. But ultimately, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are kind of just like thing. Incident resolved, next incident, more people get involved, next incident. And the incident in Touhou 8 is actually one of the biggest incidents that the entire series has ever seen, because it involves the moon, right? Taking the moon out. And that's why everybody got involved. It was a big culmination game. Ion is a very, very good game. Very jam-packed full of content. Okay, what was I talking about? This is the 20th installment. We've gone back to the basics, made the main characters, Reimu and Marissa. You will challenge enemies by combining them with 8 mysterious types of mutation stones. This time, we hope you will enjoy the worldview that you have only seen in Touhou and in the mysterious story. What does that mean? We hope you will enjoy the worldview that you have only seen in Touhou. And what does that mean? Chat, what does that mean? No, they're not the Chaos Emeralds. It's not the Chaos Emeralds. I have no idea what that means. Okay, so we got some screenshots. So, Reimu's hair is very notably brown in this game. And she has some weird, giant jade emerald type, crystals. Okay. They're not onbashira. They're obviously gems. You can tell by the cut of them. They're gems. But, and I mean, it did just say 8 mysterious stones. So there's 2 characters and 8 mutation stones. Her Gohei is behind her. Yeah, I can see it. It's all the way out to her palm, and then it goes all the way out past her character name. He's just leaning into the growing stick thing. Okay, so we have a screenshot from the game. So, obviously stage 1. Now, the first thing I'm noticing, chat, is that it says 1 hit. Now, I know that probably doesn't mean anything, but why is there a hit counter in a mainline game? The hit counter is only there in the shooter, the Danmaku versus games, because combos build into attacks. So why is there a hit meter there? Probably has to do with that purple number. So that purple number says 4.37. I don't know what that says, but it's not tied to your HP. It's not tied to your lives, bombs, or power, so I'm assuming that's tied to point value. I'm going to assume that's tied to point value. Chaining score system. Oh, so that's what that is. Kanji resolution is so bad. It's really, really packed. Okay. So I'm pretty sure the purple number is a score multiplier then, if I had to guess. Okay. And we have 4 slots on the side. Reimu currently highlighting a crescent moon and shooting fairies, and she has a very wide range of attack right now. Her back sprite is still the same. Her back sprite is still the same as it's been since forever. So there you go. But she has 4 stones. She has 4 stone slots, but 3 of them are blue and the same color. So she's using the moon one. And there's some kind of weird hexagonal layer overlaid on top of the over the forest, like some kind of barrier. We have another screenshot. So now she's got some kind of red crystal, which is firing. Now I'm not gonna cope. I'm not gonna cope, but that's very shinky colored colors. All right, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's very dark red, blackish purple. Very, very shinky base colors. I'm not coping. I'm not coping, but that is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing some shinky colors. I don't know, man. I don't know. Alright. So I have no idea what she's saying. I'm sure somebody's probably already figured it out. The gems are supposed to represent previous incidents. How do you know that? What's the red stone represent then? Because the yellow stone is the moon, so that would represent IN, right? Even though it's a crescent moon, not a full moon. Alright. EOSD. Oh, I guess, yeah, it's a scarlet stone. The red stone is the key, no doubt about it. We don't know about the blue one is described in this selection. Oh, what does it say? What does the blue one that say? Green one has bamboo. Did it? Oh, yeah, I guess it did. I guess it did. But wait a minute, then what's the moonstone then? Sanctuary apparently is a sort of powerful barrier around it. Powerful enough that Raymond Marissa seemingly need the help of those wonderstones, containing the power of the previous incidents to help create a hole in the barrier. Okay, so the yellow hexagonal outline we see is the barrier over the sanctuary land. And these stones containing the power of previous incidents. Okay, okay. So what does the blue stone say? We're on Yokai Mountain right now. That much I know. We were talking about ages about the Excon above the trees. We weren't talking ages about it, but now we understand it's a barrier protecting the sanctuary land for some reason. Okay. So I need to see, I guess we need to see which each stone represents. Blue Season. It's charged with the madness that lurks at the back of all seasons. The hidden power can surely open a hole in the sanctuary instant attack. Reliable god back and erases enemy bullets behind you. So the blue stone is Touhou 16. What does that look like to you, chat? What does that look like to you? That blue stone. I honestly don't know what that's supposed to look like at all. I see an egg in a basket. I see an egg in a basket. It's a stone, yeah. It looks like a stone. It doesn't look like anything at all. I have no idea. Okay. So yeah, we got the green one, which yeah, it looks like bamboo. It also looks like the Peerless Elixir a bit. So that could be Touhou 8, but there's also the Moonstone, which could be Touhou 8 as well because Imperishable Night. So I guess we'll have to see. Because I don't think any other incident had to do with the moon. Oh wait, what, am I fucking stupid? Touhou 15. Touhou 15 has exactly to do with the moon. But there's only 8 stones, chat. There's only 8 stones. And there's like 16 incidents. There's a lot of incidents, so half of them are getting cut. One's confirmed to be for 16, so there's 7 stones left. And the other one, there's 7 stones left, and we got Touhou 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, and 19. The rest don't describe like Crimson Kanjis, that's probably EOSD. Well, that'd be Scarlet, right? It's a Scarlet Stone. That makes sense. Is 10 really an incident? Not really, but the Morias would have some powers, right? 14 also wouldn't be much of an incident. So 14's probably vetoed. 14 is probably vetoed. 15's weird because 15 wasn't really against Sokyo incident. It was that like 2 rabbits came down to the surface and then they went to the moon. Like it was barely against Sokyo incident, right? But Touhou 18 was massive for Gensokyo, so that one has to be referenced. Not just because it's Touhou 8, alright? Not just because of that. So let me have a look at Marissa. So her broom is very curly. And there's, yeah, the main story stone, so that's probably what you were talking about. The weird blue egg. Marissa looks like Marissa. Her eyes are red. Chat, her eyes are red, and her braid's on the wrong side. Her eyes are red in this game. I know it's blacked out, but you can tell they're red because they look like same color as Rainbow. The braid is on the wrong side. The white ribbons. Okay. And then, so she's got a stone with some kind of topaz poking out. Wonderstone appeared level 1. Firing prism, 16 hits. Easy mode. I can't. I can't. And look, she's the same back sprite. Says Touhou 9. Okay. Alright. So we don't have any information, but we now have 5 stones. We get a blue one, a moon. Unless that particular stone is related to the moonstone, which I don't think it is. I don't know. There's the blue one, the green one, the red one, and the yellow one that we know for sure. And we have this yellow stone as well, so technically 5. We have 5 right now accounted for, unless they're related to this one that she already has. Or not. Okay. So now we have many different bullets being shot off. Also, the background is different in that one. So the background's the same here, the sea of trees. But you can see the background here is more like a cliffside, which... It's more like a cliffside, but not like Takane stage. It's more like going down into a hole. You ever see Made in Abyss? No, this isn't Branching Paths, because this is clearly stage 1. But this is not stage 1. And you can see it going down. It looks like the kind of like crevasse. You'd see a rift in a hole and you go down. So they're descending. They are currently descending. Because it's dark down there, right? It's dark down there, and there's no reason they'd be ascending. So they're going down. So this means yes, there is a city under the mountain that we are going towards. And is that the last screenshot? Are there any other screenshots? Background is similar to Touhou 17 mechanics, where the screen blacks out when you gather 5 beast spirits when you get a big power boost. The screen is definitely blacked out. It's related to the gemstones. Oh wait, there's something in the corner. Wait, chat, there's a meter in the corner I didn't even notice. You see that? I didn't even notice that. So, this one's very yellow, going upwards. But then this one over here, there's a red and a yellow meter, and they're like super outstretched. There's 2 meters. I didn't notice that. And this meter is now green, which means it's probably hit its peak and now it's declining, which would explain why the screen is darkened and why she's firing a bunch of bullets. So, I don't really understand what that is. But yeah, there's 2 meters there. I honestly didn't even notice them. Okay. Do we have any other, screenshots? Anything else? Okay. Nothing else? No, I think that's it, yeah. That seems to be it, chat. That's everything. We've seen it all. We've seen it all. So, there you go. There you go. So, what does it all mean? Oh. Replays back, score back, extra back. Wait, you mean replays weren't replays weren't in previous games? Alright. There you go. Replays were gone in 19. Well, I don't know, man. 19's a weird game in general. 19's a weird game in general. So, what can I say? To be honest with you, chat, the part I am most interested in is the earlier stage bosses. Is that a dragon in the background? Yes. Because the earlier stage bosses will be fun characters who have no stake in anything. And the later characters in the game will be very annoying. So, yeah. Yeah. We're gonna get more Mega Moves. We're gonna get more Mega Moves. That's right. Stage 6. We're gonna get another Zanmu. You know, I've said this before, but a lot of the stronger characters in Touhou were endearing. Earlier, strong Touhou characters were endearing because they had so many different character flaws and personality tropes that were explored in canon to a certain degree through different little one-off gags more than anything. Remy is a great example. Remy is a character who can be portrayed as very serious and very powerful, but then she gets in her high chair and she eats her broccoli and she goes yucky. That's great. But a lot of the newer characters, especially Zanmu, are just kind of really strong because Zun said they were very strong. Zanmu's omake is very, very underbaked. It's very underbaked. There are characters whose omakes are massive. And Zanmu is supposed to be the huge deal character, and her omake is literally just, she was a monk who fucked up and was gonna go to hell, so she just went to hell ahead of time, and then she was really cool and awesome and charismatic, and everybody loved her, and then she became the god of former hell. Like, there was not much info in her omake to explain how she reached the position she was in. It was just kind of like she did it because she's awesome. So it's kind of hard to like a character like that. So some of Zun's newer characters are just kind of, the big deal characters are kind of boring because they have no real flaws as a character. So they get very samey and they get kind of uninteresting. The only thing that really keeps them interesting for people is their designs and how many layers of clothing you can take off when you draw them. But, you know, that's, there you go. Never said she wasn't a strong character. I said her explanation as a strong character is very boring. She's a boring character. They're boring. They're boring. They're boring. They're all boring. That's the problem. Megumu's boring. Okina's boring. These characters don't have flaws and nothing blows up in their face. Kanako's boring too. Kanako's really boring because every time Kanako does something or has done something or gets reprimanded for something she did, she's never on screen to actually deal with the consequences of her actions. It's always just Kanako did it. The only thing that Kanako gets is the fans who portray her as, like, not as popular as the other two and then trying to be more popular because she wants to be. That's her endearing character trait, but that was given to her by the fans. I never did anything interesting with Kanako, ever. The only thing he did was he made her say mean things to Mioi, and then Mioi made her change her tune, and then Mioi was like, I'm gonna give her nightmares anyway, fuck you. That was a cool chapter. Streamer like Keiki. Keiki's boring too. Keiki's only funny because she's kind of adorable with how she looks, but Keiki doesn't like do anything. She's a savior to the animal realm, the human faction of the animal realm, but Keiki hasn't made an appearance since at all. She hasn't done anything. But most of the characters are like that. Yashie is great because Yashie got a fucking serving a humble pie until 19. That shit mad funny. Yashie was a scary lady, and she was very cunning. And then in 19, it was like, all right, let's knock her down a peg and make her feel a little more, not realistic, I suppose, but it's better when characters go through some form of suffrage. Yes, that's right. Yashie got the short end of the stick for the majority of it. 19 did a pretty good job giving a more humanizing aspect to the Animal Realm bosses. For Saki, Yashie, and not so much to Yuma, but Yuma's just kind of cool. Like, Yuma's whole shtick is that she just doesn't really care, but she does care, but she doesn't care. And she's so cool. Her attitude is so cool, it formed an entire group around her. And when you see how she acts in the games, you're like, oh yeah, she's pretty chill. She's cool. That's what makes Yuma cool. So yeah, the problem I have with some newer characters... The problem I have with some newer characters is that sometimes when you're introducing new strong characters into the lore, they don't have anything going for them except for me being told that they're very strong. And as a result, they never deal with any difficulties, or everything always goes the way they plan, and then they're boring characters. So in this game, I prefer to see more characters who are just kind of characters, I suppose. Just denizens to add to the world. I don't think we're gonna get any stage 6 boss who's gonna be like, holy shit, this character is amazing. But you know, we'll see on the popularity polls, we'll see the recency biases, we'll see the most popular of the game. There's plenty of characters. I would love to be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I would love to be wrong. I would love to be completely wrong and have this blow up in my face. And every character is actually very cool and very interesting and very well done. I just don't believe that'll happen based on the history of it. Also, I'm very worried. I wouldn't say I'm very worried, but I am a little worried that there's going to be more, how would you say? What's the best way to say this? Dating of the game with its themes. Probably, that's the best way to say it. But if you don't know, Zun's most recent chapter in Cola was about how Sumireko developed an AI for like 6 months, and she barely slept as she did it. And then it was just Zun going on about how AI is like, ooh, be scared. And then apparently in Lotus Eaters, there's a chapter where the Origamis are trying to do some kind of crypto scam. Why the fuck are the Origamis doing a crypto scam? I don't even know what that means. I haven't read that chapter, but what does that even mean? How do you do a crypto scam against Sokyo? So, I don't really want to see this conversation in Touhou at all. I really don't. And I don't want this game to date itself by being like that, you know? I really don't need to see this. We've already got petroleum introduced into the series and explaining why fossil fuels bad, petroleum bad, petroleum cause problem for all people. And then we got the animal realm, which the animal realm is a dystopian society where you have to, you know, there's no winning in there. It's a shitty place. So there's been a lot of modern day Doom posting in Touhou. It's just been a little too modern day Doom posting for my taste. Oh yes, I'm still listening. Like, what do you call it? Alternative facts in Eastern Utopia exists. And despite what some people will tell you about that particular book, that book has a lot of articles in it that are pretty fun and goofy. The whole idea of the book is that Aya tries to write a paper based on what she read from a shitty tabloid magazine, which is why she does what she does, but ultimately decides not to publish it, so nobody even knows of its existence. Unfortunately, some people got the wrong message out of that one, so it's hard to really talk about it, but Alternative Facts has a lot of fun. Alternative Facts has a lot of fun. Little articles in it, like Shimmy's whitewater rafting, Raiko's joining with the Prism Rivers, Sagame's visit to Aente, Aya absolutely shitting on the Kakashi Spirit news. So yeah, there's that was a thing. That was a thing. There was a reference to the 2016 elections, which, if you ask some people, that is the only thing that actually happened in that book, is the fact that it referenced that. Seriously, man, some people are fucking brain rotted 24/7. But like that, in my opinion, was fine. But in more modern Touhou-based stuff, there is, again, talking about AI and being like, oh, AI gonna become an ultra uber beast, kill you. And then we got petroleum, and now we got some kind of Yorigami crypto. So I just a little worried that this is gonna be a little too on the nose again, and it's gonna make the game annoying to talk about. Book only had US-based politics. It didn't have US-based politics at all. There was nothing US-based politics about it, except for the fact that she wrote one of Miko's speeches with the based on one of Trump's speeches from 2016. That is literally the only reference. And then she makes a correction article about how she tried to spice up Miko's speech by using what she read in that book. So, but like I said, this is the only thing that some people talk about with this fucking book. And it's like, please get a hobby. Please get a hobby. Now, some people are probably going to be upset at me just for saying that, because in their world, everything is inherently political, including sunshine and rainbows and fantasy. But like, Alternative Facts is a pretty great book that gets some poor reception, in the sense that people just ignore everything that it does in favor of just what they think it does. Was the AI just in the written works? Yes, it was just the latest chapter of Cola, which is the ones that are bundled with strange creators. The plot is apparently Yashie knows Ron. That's really cool. Yashie enlists Ron's help to solve a computer problem, which is, again, it's Sumireko developing an AI, and she's been developing it for 6 months. She hasn't been in Gensokyo in 6 months because she's barely been sleeping, because she's been developing an AI for 6 months. 6 fucking months. And then I think Ron destroys it. Like, Ron fucking destroys it or something. And then and Sumireko goes, "My apes!" And then she goes back to school. Yes, I'm not joking. 6 months. Sumireko has not appeared in Gensokyo for half a year, and you find out it's because she's barely been getting enough sleep to actually materialize in the Gensokyo, because she spent so much time developing her AI. That's the good end, yeah. Sumireko never goes back to Gensokyo ever again. Alright. Alright, but that's just my 2 cents, chat. That's just my 2 cents. We're in 2019 versus all leaders know Ron. That's not surprising, but it's less so they know her and more so that they have like, Yashie has a direct line to Ron, and they are buddies. You know what I mean? That's the important part to take from this, is the fact that Yashie, the matriarch of the Kiketsu family, like can communicate with Ron and knows Ron, and they are like acquainted. Like Ron is acquainted with very important people in the animal realm, but Ron left the animal realm because she didn't like how the nature of it was, which means she was a big deal in the animal realm back then, that she knows all this. Well, now she's Yukari Shikigami. But I just thought that was cool because Yuma's the only one in the story who talks to her and mentions that she knows her. But we see in this Cola chapter specifically that Yashie and Ron are on good terms, which is kind of impressive. So I don't think she'll ever interact with Saki because I feel like Saki's entire MO is completely against Ron. And Ron, like, again, the reason why Ron left the animal realm is pretty much everything that Saki stands for. So we'll see. When are we checking the Fortune Slips book? When it's translated. It's not translated yet. Should like Ron have more independence without Yukari? Now, I think at this point, I'd just take anything with Ron. But one of the biggest issues with Ron was that she didn't really have free will, and there was something that said that Yukari wished she did have more free will. There was that. But she didn't really show up in anything at all because she's pretty much just weaponized by Yukari. If Ron had more free will, she'd be able to do more stuff. And again, fandom stuff kind of does that anyway. There's a number of fandom interpretations of Ron that paint her as basically the one who wears the pants in the family, or just she treats Chen like she does. So fandom's got you covered on that front for sure. But Ron's appearances are very few and far between. But her appearance in 19 was pretty good. I like that. I liked her appearance in 19. And also, Ron did have a little bit of independence in the sense that she refrained from telling Yukari about Yuma. So she willingly left information out in her report to Yukari, her direct superior, right? So there's some form of independence in there, which is pretty cool. But ultimately, some characters are just going to get it worse than others. That's all. So yeah, this comes out, the demo comes out May 5th, chat. I will check it out, obviously. We'll hear the music, we'll see the first 3 bosses. So, also, here's something I want you to keep in mind, chat. This happens all the time, but I want you to remember this. When the demo comes out, you'll get 3 new characters, right? Stage 1, 2, and 3 boss. Okay? There's going to be a massive influx of art because they are new Touhou characters. And then nobody's going to care about them after a month. Here's what's going to happen. New art because new character. A couple fans, quote-unquote fans, who've decided their personality is now going to revolve around being the biggest fan of this character. And then the full game comes out, and then we get new art of the new characters. And then we talk about how the early stage boss characters, stages 1, 2, and 3 characters are actually more popular than you think because they have a high number of fan art results. Simply not because that they debuted and released like 3 months prior to the full game releasing. Definitely not. That's not the reason why they have so many hits on Pixiv. Not because they were new characters who came out 3 months before the full game. It's because they're actually very popular and streamer just doesn't know what he's talking about. Classic. When is the demo? May 5th. May 5th is the demo. Full game comes out August. So, we will see. Nobody said that, though. Oh, yes, they did. Okay, chat. So, what do you think? Feel free to think about it yourself. But I will try the demo. I will see how the game is. We'll see if this ties in with anything related to the written works. And by that I mean chapters referencing events of it. They like to do that after the games come out. The latest chapters reference the aftermath of the events. Who knows? But I'm gonna hope that it's at least a fun game with good replay value. And that's all I can really ask for. And maybe a character design that I really like, because I like Yuma a lot. Yuma is easily my favorite character, favorite newest character, for sure. She's great. So you never know. We might get a character I really, really like. We might get a character I don't care about. We might get a character I vehemently dislike. And we might get a character that I think is just barely passable. Who knows? May 5th, we'll find half of that information out. Stay tuned. It'll be coming soon.